All right. Hello everyone joining us live on Gradeup. बहुत बहुत स्वागत आप सभी का. Welcome everyone. Good evening everyone. It brings me immense pleasure today कि आज आपके लिए ये सेशन लेकर आ रहा हूं मैं, जहां पे वो most awaited session of them all. Pretty sure कार्तिक सर huge fan. देख लीजिए सर, fan following अभी से आपकी चालू हो चुकी है. So guys, let me quickly introduce our amazing panelist here. With me joining today is Kartik Yadav. He is a graduate from one of the most prestigious law schools in the country. He's a graduate from NLU Jodhpur. He cracked Clat way back in 2015 and ever. Right. Hello everyone, joining us live on Gradeup. बहुत बहुत स्वागत आप सभी का. Welcome everyone. Good evening everyone. There's some echo. I'll just quickly. Immense pleasure today. Sure. कि आज आपके लिए. Okay. All right. So, yes, I think I'm audible. Yes. So guys, let me quickly start it now. All right. So, Kartik sir has actually for since 2015 he's basically graduate from helping all his juniors reach their whatever dream internships is, how to basically shape their career while they are in law school. So he's been guiding them throughout his 5-year stint there at law school, right? So ab. All right. Okay. No lag. All right, guys. Got it. Chaliye. So guys, so Kartik sir basically is here with us today, and I would also like to share that he is a professional football player as well. While he was there in his law school, he basically represented his university as well and brought many laurels for the university as well. So welcome Kartik sir, बहुत स्वागत आपका आज के सेशन में. I along with all our students Gradeup welcome you with open arms sir. बहुत स्वागत आपका.
Thank you so much, Abhimanyu. I mean, it is a great opportunity to connect with you all in the team at Gradeup, and I hope this session is informative for everybody who's listening. And yeah, really humbled by the introduction that you gave. I'm sure that I'll put in the right efforts to justify what you're saying. Yeah,
definitely, sir. I don't have any doubt about it, and the students are absolutely amazed and excited for this session for obvious reasons, right? So. Kartik, my first question to you is just if you could just give me a brief about your background, your story. What was it, starting from your childhood memory? What was your first dream and how law happened?
Okay, so I mean, this is an interesting story, and I think will take some time. I'll sum it up for you guys. I never thought of law till my 12th grade. Exactly like every commerce student, I wanted to go to Delhi University, wanted to go to the coveted SRCC College of Commerce and Sri Ram College of Commerce. And that was my only dream. I fell short by a couple of marks, by a couple of percentages indeed. And I got into every other college into DU apart from that. And that's when I realized that maybe this is not something that I want to do. And I heard of something like Clat. And that's, so there has to be, so we are lacking counseling career-wise. As students, we don't really ask the right questions to ourselves why we want to do law. This is a question that most students ask themselves before they are getting placed. A recruiter will ask you, law क्यों किया आपने? Corporate law क्यों करना चाहते हैं? हमारे यहाँ पे क्यों आना चाहते हैं? This is when we realize, okay, it's 4 years that I'm already into this mess now. Why did I want to do it in the first place?
Right.
But I think I asked that question to myself when I was in my 12th grade. I liked speaking. I liked, being vivacious. I wanted to connect to a lot of people. I liked writing. And a summation of all of this was brought to me in the form of Clat. Right. I thought this is why I want to do it. I think speaking skills and writing skills are best acknowledged in the form of monetary benefits in this field. And this is a secure job in those terms. So that's when I attempted Clat, and I think, yeah, that's how the story started.
Summed up. Guys, यहाँ पे आपने देखा होगा sir, actually he was targeting the college which basically has a cutoff in excess of 99% if we talk about it in the year 2021. So basically he ended up law. So are you a first generation lawyer?
I am.
You are.
And right. I think that's the beauty of it. You have to explore everything. It's an uncharted territory for you. I mean, you have to explore everything by yourself. Absolutely. There are obviously people to help you out. There are mentors, but yeah. You are swimming for the first time and there is no tube.
Absolutely. Great motivation for every one of you watching us live. आप लोगों के लिए कितना जबरदस्त मोटिवेशन है दोस्तों. फर्स्ट जेन लॉयर आपके सामने है. आप यहाँ पे देख रहे सुन रहे हैं इनसे कि पहली बार इन्होंने इनके फैमिली में अगर हम देखें तो सर इफ यू कुड जस्ट क्विकली शेयर योर जर्नी हाउ from football for being a professional footballer. How did basically it all happened, and how did you continue playing your with your passion? Basically, how did you continue it throughout your law school life?
Okay, I'll tell you something, and I think this is very important for every student, and in fact every person, so to say. I don't know, I just think that there has to be a holistic approach towards everything that you want to achieve. I just can't be like, so most students burn out because parents have a parental pressure. पढ़ना है, पढ़ना है, पढ़ना है, तभी कुछ कर पाओगे. And that's something that's a basic psyche. I mean, I'll put in the right amount of effort and I'll achieve the right amount of results. But in order to sustain and be consistent with my performance, I have to have other things that I like doing. I am not sure there are many people in India who want to study because they like studying. It's a goal oriented process, right? I studied because I wanted to become a lawyer. I wanted to crack Clat. That was my goal. I wasn't studying because I liked the preparation of Clat, so to say, before I started. Eventually, I probably liked it. So there should be other things. It can be music, it can be art, it can be movies, it can be anything that keeps you in the process and lets you from not burning yourself out in due course. Clat is an exam which probably has a course for 3 months, but you will see students preparing for years or at least a year, so to say. They burn themselves out in the entire process, in the mid of the process. When I take lectures, and I have helped a couple of institutions, when I take lectures, I sit in classes, and the first question that I ask every newcomer is, how many of you do you want to go to X college or Y college? And these are tier 1 colleges, right? 100% strength of the class has always raised their hands on day one. When you ask the same question on the last day of preparation, you will see a hesitation. Okay, maybe I have not put in the right amount of effort. Okay, maybe, and there is that, and that is because they have burnt themselves out in the process itself.
Absolutely.
Football was that reliever for me. And any kind of sport, I think it teaches you discipline. It teaches you the kind of effort that you want to put in. You will have small drawbacks. There might be a couple of marks where you don't perform and you are studying or working really hard towards that particular subject or section, and you don't get that score and you let yourself down. But that's what sport teaches you, right? You will be thrown against the wall, you will stand up again, you will be thrown again, and you will stand up again. And that's the fighting spirit. I think that's what sport gets in your life, and any kind of dedication in your life. I think Bharat ka har bachcha, and I'm sorry if I'm I don't know, speaking in one language because corporate law, we have to deal with clients, and Hindi बोलना काफी पसंद करता हूँ, हिंदी लिखना भी पसंद करता हूँ, लेकिन अंग्रेजी की आदत पड़ गई. तो आई थिंक ये एक ऐसी चीज है जो बहुत जरूरी है लाइफ में होना. कुछ भी एक ऐसा इंटरेस्ट जिसको आप अपने साथ डेवलप करके चलें. जब भी लगे कि मैं परेशान हूँ, मैं हार रहा हूँ, वो इंटरेस्ट आपको वापस लाएगा ट्रैक पे.
Absolutely. Well said, sir. Well said. And I'm sure all of you also realize, because this is a very crucial year. I think Karthik would definitely agree with me on this, that this year, your passion basically is definitely comes in there to rescue you basically, because इस साल तो सबसे ज्यादा जरूरत है आपको अपने पैशन की. कुछ और ऐसा होने की जो स्ट्रेस बस्टर हो. जैसे कार्तिक के लिए यहाँ पे फुटबॉल था, मेरे लिए क्रिकेट था, हो सकता है आपके लिए मूवीज हो, व्हाटएवर इट इज, बट कुछ स्ट्रेस बस्टर होना जरूरी है आपके लिए, ताकि वो मोनोटनी जो है वो आप ब्रेक कर सकें. इट इज ऑल द मोर इम्पोर्टेंट दिस ईयर, राइट? तो बिल्कुल ये बात बिल्कुल सही है. बहुत बहुत स्वागत आप सभी का, दोज ऑफ यू जॉइनिंग अस लाइव राइट नाउ. बहुत बहुत स्वागत आपका इस सेशन में. वी हैव विद अस कार्तिक यादव हमारे साथ हैं दोस्तों, जो कि इंडिया की वन ऑफ द बेस्ट लॉ फर्म्स इन द कंट्री, टियर 1 लॉ फर्म में ही इज एसोसिएटेड विद देम. तो आपके लिए बहुत अच्छा मौका है, आप उनसे इंटरेक्ट कर सकते हैं, आप उनके बारे में थोड़ा सा जान सकते हैं, एंड ऑल्सो टू लर्न अबाउट हिज एंटायर जर्नी, राइट? तो Karthik sir, so do share with us that how did you plan your internships? As we all know, after every semester, students are supposed to go pursue internships. There are lots of students who basically treat them as holidays also, right? So please guide them and share your journey as well to how to plan your internships. So
this is actually a very good question, and I think this is not just for the audience that's preparing for CLAT or our aspirants. It's also for the audience that are in law school right now. there are a lot of law schools, and I wouldn't name or endorse any, that don't have an internship curriculum, so to say. For instance, if I'm in my first year, they won't tell me what kind of internship I have to do, or in my second year or third year or fourth year or fifth year. There are colleges that have a particular curriculum for the kind of internships that you have to do in the subsequent amount of year that you are in. Now, the idea is when you don't have any mentorship regarding internships, it is self-regulated, or maybe with the help of seniors or the people that you're seeing do something, you see them and you're like, okay, he has done something that I would want to do. Let me copy the exact plan that he had. That's not something that will work for you, because it's customized, right? You are a different person. He is a different person. He tried different things and realized, okay, I don't want to do this. Maybe you don't like the same routine. So for me, it was mostly about, okay, so I think every internship break is very important.
True.
And this is something that most people will not tell you. Most people will tell you that in your first year, it's okay to not do internships. क्या करोगे पहले ही साल में, तो क्या ही पढ़ा होगा अभी तक, रहने दो, लॉयर क्या ही काम देगा. इन सब बातों में कोई दोहराया नहीं है, बिल्कुल सच है. अगर मैं एक लॉयर हूं और मेरे पास एक फिफ्थ ईयर स्टूडेंट है और एक फर्स्ट ईयर स्टूडेंट है, आई वुड डेफिनेटली पॉन ऑन माई वर्क टू अ फिफ्थ ईयर स्टूडेंट एंड नॉट अ फर्स्ट ईयर स्टूडेंट. बट can I stop the first year student from observing? No, right? His presence in the office is enough to observe. His presence in the court is enough to observe. And I think to understand those mannerisms, you have to be there. One student who hasn't interned at all in their first year and one student who's just been to the court and done nothing else, who do you pick in more experience? Definitely who's been to the court, right? So I think every internship since your first semester is very important. For me, I wanted to try everything out. So I started with litigation internships because sadly firms like AZB don't take interns in the first or second year, or maybe third year also. Correct. Unless you have somebody that you know inside the firm, and that's not the right way to approach this. Right. So I started with litigation internships. I started with court internships, and then I jumped on to smaller firms, increasing my experience. And I think internships are the best form of learning available to a law student. I no disrespect to any faculty teaching in law school, no disrespect to any law school's curriculum. एक इंसान जो काम करके सीखता है, वो काम आप उसे पढ़ा के नहीं सिखा सकते हैं. Theory और practice में बहुत फर्क है. Everything that I've learned as of today is only because of my internships, and I've done quite a lot of them. So that's the idea. Till the time I'm watching football on TV, I probably will know what to do, but I won't know how to do it until I'm actually playing. This is what an internship experience is for you, or an apprentice experience is for you. You have to be inside the court to try what you've learned. And then I switched on to smaller firms and then tier one firms eventually. And that's how, I mean, if you are a recruiter, Abhimanyu, why will you not take a person who has done 10 internships and has like ample amount of experience? You will, right?
Absolutely.
अगर आपको बड़ी जगहों पे internships नहीं मिल रही है, if you're not getting it, it's okay. Try and get as many internships and as much exposure as you can from smaller places. Correct. The work is the same, right? It will be valued.
Well said, sir. Karthik, you've stressed upon the importance of internships. How would you say, what role did your internships play in securing a job at AZB?
Everything. Absolutely everything. It's a very small story, but I'll share it with you. I have never interned with AZB, and I had never interned with AZB. I got placed through my day zero process, which is the placement day. I'm sure काफी लोगों ने ये process colleges में देखा होगा. जो colleges के बच्चे नहीं हैं, उन्होंने movies में देखा होगा. Placements के लिए companies आती हैं और आपको hire करके ले जाती हैं. It's not as filmy as it sounds. You have to have a good CV. You have to have a good resume for that. And in order to build that up, they want people who have worked enough in firms, right? Now, when I look back and I tell myself, why did I intern in my first semester? It counts because it increased the number of my internships. Why did I do 2 internships in a semester when everybody was doing 1 internship? It counts because maybe if I'm lacking somewhere with someone, against someone, it builds my CV up. Correct. So I never interned with AZB, and my interview, they asked me, why have you never interned with us? And I was like, sir, maybe there is a problem with your HR. Maybe there is a problem with the recruitment system, because I am shortlisted for a personal interview with you, but I was never shortlisted for an internship. So I thought, okay, you have rejected me for an internship. I will do internships at similar places or other places, build my CV and come to you when the time is right. And I built my CV apart from AZB. And when I thought, okay, this was the right time, and maybe they also thought this is the right time, my CV looked good to them and they shortlisted me for an interview. And after I got that shot, I converted it. And I think one thing to mention is every internship that you get, you need to make interpersonal contacts. You need to make relationships that are not just professional. You need to understand why somebody will like you and want your presence in their office. And ये करना बहुत जरूरी है because legal fraternity and every professional fraternity, so to say, is based on connections. If you want to be a litigator, I will obviously refer a case to my friend and not somebody that I don't know. This is how it works. So I think every internship that you go to, you need to aim for a callback. You need to aim for an assessment. You need to aim for an interview to prove yourself the best candidate there. Then it's your choice to reject or accept. But the ball should be in your court.
Amazing, sir. Amazing. I'm sure the students who are watching us right now, who are aspirants, they can watch this video again after they are there in their law school, and they'll be immensely benefited from whatever we are trying to say. अगर आपको कुछ अभी समझ में नहीं आ रहा, कार्तिक सर कुछ बोल रहे हैं जो आपको अभी समझ में नहीं आ रहा, इंटर्नशिप से क्या हो रही है, क्या बातें हो रही है, तो डोंट वरी, डोंट स्ट्रेस अबाउट इट. इट्स बेसिकली जब आप वहां पे जाते हैं लॉ स्कूल में, तो जहां पे आपको जिस तरह से स्कूल में आपको 2 महीने की छुट्टियां मिलती थी, गर्मी की छुट्टियां, सर्दी की विंटर वेकेशन, so similarly you get same leave basically while you are there in law school. The only difference is that in those in this duration, जब आपको लॉ स्कूल में वो छुट्टी मिलती है 1 महीने की, 2 महीने की, it is not actually a छुट्टी, it is actually a time to build your CV, your curriculum. आप अगर अपना रिज्यूम बिल्ड करेंगे दोस्तों, तो आपको भविष्य में अच्छा आपको बेसिकली जॉब सिक्योर कर सकेंगे, जैसा कि यहाँ पे कार्तिक सर ने अभी आपको जस्ट बताया, राइट? तो कार्तिक, व्हाट ऑल basically if we say ki what all experiences have you gained in this short stint of yours? You just graduated in the year 2020, so what all experiences you've gained here in your short stint which you'd like to share with the students? Please do.
Yeah, I think, it's a very sought after job, right? I mean, everybody wants a corporate job because I think maybe it just sounds fancy. I don't know. I honestly never wanted a corporate job because everybody else wanted it. I was like, wait, what is happening? Everybody wants a corporate job. Why? Have they watched something? Have they ever worked in that setup? No. Just because it pays you a lot of money, everybody seeks that. But you have to understand why you want it. I mean, there is nothing in litigation that can draw you apart from it. There is nothing in corporate that can draw you apart from it if you want to do it. So, मेरे लिए, I think the most important thing was to understand the kind of exposure that I will be put into. Right now, as a junior, as a lawyer who's starting, will not get such amount of exposure in any mid-tier place, right? AZB has a clientele and has the very big names around the world that they're serving to and serving for. You get to know about things that you've only read in newspapers. You get to know about clients. You get to meet clients and lawyers that you've only heard of. I mean, can you imagine a first year working with Harish Salve or Kapil Sibal? Just right next to them, sitting right on us, having conferences with senior lawyers in the country. We are discussing a case. Our inputs are valued. So I think that's because you are coming with a tag name of a firm and it's not you individually. So that is some experience that I think transactional practice, yeah, corporate practice आपको देती है. Obviously, office fancy होना और अच्छी cities में office होना और travel करने को मिलना, these are also perks for students, I'm guessing. But I think you need to ask yourself the right questions before you jump into a corporate setup.
Wow, amazing. Brilliant answer here, Kartik. Guys, what actually Kartik sir tried to say is that ki yahan pe it's basically, obviously he's being humble about it, that yes, it's a good acha pay job hai, sab kuch acha hai, perks are really good. But the best part about it is that you get to interact with senior professionals, stalwarts, legal stalwarts from the industry, and that is something which is basically something which appeals to everyone who basically goes and secures a job at tier 1 law firms. So sir, another question I'd like to ask, and I'm sure all the students would also like to ask the same as well, is that what is the role of extracurricular activities in securing a job? Do they play any role?
Right. This is a very good question, actually. There are n number of facilities and options and things that you can actually do while being at law school. But do you have to do all of them just because everybody is doing it? Do you have to select, pick and choose? Or do you have to just omit and only focus on academics? There is no correct method to reach the goal. Everybody has an end result, right? My end result was at the end of 5th year, I should be employable. This is a word that I always keep in my head. कुछ हो ना हो, अपने आप को इतना डेवलप कर लेना है, इतना पर्सनालिटी को तैयार कर लेना है that I should be employable by anybody. Nobody has to put in extra effort on me to make me work. May it be a litigator, may it be a corporate law firm, may it be a government job, anything. I have to be in that zone to be ready to work. Now, how do you build your personality? Easier said than done, right? I mean, everybody says personalities are obviously acknowledged, but how do you build that personality? Clearly, I wasn't the same person when I went to law school. I was a kid who had no idea, who had major cultural shock while being to college. I never understood why people in Bombay or in Delhi or in any metro city for that matter think that they're cooler than us, think that they're smarter than us. It took me time to understand it's because they have had better exposure than us. वो चीज़ें जिनकी बहुत ज़्यादा अहमियत होती है वो है नॉलेज बट सैडली इन आवर प्रोफेशन इट स्टार्ट्स विद लैंग्वेज जुबान का काम है लोगों को जोड़ना यहाँ पे ये अलग करती है because the legal fraternity only values good speakers in English language. That is why you have to start from there. There are a lot of people from remote areas who are brilliant minds. I have mentored a few kids who did not know how to use a laptop, who did not know how to speak 3-4 lines about themselves in English.
Correct.
But now they're doing good and they're in good law schools. So the idea is to start developing that. Extracurricular activities में क्या choice करनी है आपको वो आपको decide करना है. For instance, I never mooted. It was a conscious choice. I never did a moot.
Okay.
And why I did not do it is, in NLU Jodhpur, there is a curriculum which allows every law subject to have a separate moot for itself. So it was there in my curriculum. And that's why I did not choose it as an extracurricular activity because I thought extra time yahan aur dena is not worth it. I focused on writing. I focused on coaching a couple of teams. I focused on negotiating and mediating. So there are other things. You have to build a holistic CV. But there is no right way. Like I said, a person with low scores and a lot of other things in their CV can be as good as a person with the batch rank 1 and not other things in their CV.
Absolutely.
There is no right way. You have to figure it out yourself. But I would like you to know that you have to try everything that comes your way at least once in order to know whether you want to do it again or not.
Right? Absolutely. Great. Yeah. तो कार्तिक का यहाँ पे एक और बात यहाँ पे मैं पॉइंट करना चाहूंगा. आपने बताया कि you are basically you have been in Jodhpur. You were there for good 5 years. I am basically from Jodhpur, Rajasthan. My entire childhood I spent there. How did you find the city? How was it? And how was it to basically come and study after your 12th? I suppose you were there in your hometown. It was a shift, a cultural shift as well, to move to a new city. And those 5 years, how could you concentrate on building your career while there were so many distractions?
Right. This is actually a very good question. And only a law school student can ask this, or a college student, a fresh college student can ask this question. There are a lot of things that are foundations on you when you are at home, right? As a student, you are being parented by people who have not had the exposure to things that you are having the exposure to. For instance, social media. For instance, things that you relate to and they don't. And it's nothing wrong. I mean, parents are only doing it because they're trying to understand whether you're getting distracted or not. But when you're in college, you are break free. There is absolutely nobody to parent you. Nobody gives a damn about you. And I'm sorry about language, but college mein aap hi apne mai baap hote hain. Nobody will tell you what is the right thing to do, what is the wrong thing to do. You have to figure it out yourself. You are given enough respect to respect yourself. If somebody is telling you, okay, I trust you to do whatever you want to do with your life, that means they're having trust in you. It's not like they're letting you free. That's what college life does to you. College jaate hi, because there are a lot of options to explore your freedom, a lot of students get sidetracked. And this is very obvious. I mean, बहुत simple example, if our parents leave our place for 2-3 days, kids go bonkers, right? Because there is no foundation. So that's college for you for 5 years. There is no foundation. You have to figure what time you have to study, what time you have to play, what time you have to do other things to leave at that. And I think for me, Jodhpur and the kind of friends and the kind of circle that you make, the kind of people that you're with, the company that you keep is all that matters. The people around me were smart workers. And you have to keep a mix of everything. There were hard workers, there were smart workers, there were diligent people, and there were people who absolutely cared about nothing. So you have to keep them as a package in your life to understand what I want to do, what I don't want to do on a daily basis. And I think that circle helps you a lot. So that's what I did.
well said Karthik. तो गाइस जैसा कि आप देख रहे हैं कार्तिक सर आपके सारे जो भी आपके क्वेश्चंस है, जो भी आपके क्वेश्चंस हो सकते हैं, वो सब आंसर कर रहे हैं. इफ यू हैव एनी क्वेश्चन दैट यू वुड लाइक टू आस्क कार्तिक सर, दिस इज द टाइम. फील फ्री, रीच आउट एंड डू आस्क एनी क्वेश्चन दैट यू हैव इन माइंड. ठीक है, हम यहाँ पे
I would like to request an open forum. किसी का कोई भी और कैसा भी सवाल क्लैट प्रेपरेशन से रिलेटेड, क्लैट प्रेपरेशन से पहले से रिलेटेड और उसके बाद से रिलेटेड, हम पूरा पैनोरमा कवर करेंगे. You can ask anything about it.
Correct. Karthik, just one more question I'd like to ask here. That while you were preparing for Clat, when you were preparing basically, so there actually, how good were you in mathematics? So this question basically is a question which basically every law student basically encounters. जब वो कि भाई मेरे को मैथ्स करना है छोड़ना है. Right. So just your thoughts on it.
I think every student who's attempting Clat is somebody who's cleared his or her 12th, right? They, in those 2 years, they forget that we did maths in 10th. Correct. It's elementary mathematics. In the next 2 years, if you've not chosen maths as a optional subject, you forget that you know maths. But the idea is Clat only asks questions that are elementary mathematics related questions. May it be the old pattern, may it be the new pattern. The new pattern has a lot of DI, data interpretation. Absolutely. The old pattern had a lot of elementary mathematics questions, but the current DI format also has a lot of elementary mathematics questions in the form of sets. Now, every student who thinks that you are not good at mathematics or you don't want to attempt mathematics is being the examiner before they're attempting the paper. Right. आप अपने लिए you are reducing the amount of marks that you can attempt and actually get by 15 or 20 marks. In the old pattern it was 20, in the new pattern it's 15. आप अपने लिए अपना पेपर खुद ही 135 नंबर का बना के चल रहे हैं. So you're already 15 marks short than somebody who's attempting mathematics. I always aimed at mathematics to be a scorer. And okay, I can be somebody who understood mathematics and who wanted to do it. But there can be somebody who will say कि सर समझ ही नहीं आता ना, कुछ पता ही नहीं होता ना, तो क्यों? मेरा उन लोगों के लिए ये एडवाइस है, buy a book, do examples, and in the day of the exam, at least try attempting 15 questions. You will definitely know 5 or 7 of them, even if you are very bad at maths. Those 5-7 numbers are going to boost you up instead of just leaving mathematics and going away with it. That's not the right approach. I would like to say this on this platform, that mathematics or any subject for that matter, people can have that question about current GK, can have that question about legal GK, can have that question about critical reasoning.
Absolutely.
But the idea is to attempt everything so that you prepare yourselves for 150 marks. You attempt those questions and get yourself at par with everybody. अगर आप खुद ही 135 नंबर का या 140 नंबर का या for any number that's lesser than 150 एग्जाम बना लेंगे, you are increasing your competition and reducing your odds to get in.
Well said, sir. Well said. I'm sure all the aspirants would be really thanking you, because hearing it from someone who has been there, done it, is definitely really helpful. Sir, so one question which I'm seeing every student wants to know is what was your strategy for cracking Clat and also your Clat rank also? So this question, yeah, please.
My Clad rank was 253 and was never satisfied with my Clad rank, to be very honest.
No one is, except the first ranker.
Yeah, I think that's true about it. But I think once you're an aspirant, you understand. And my mentality was completely different. And I've always had that mentality. When the results were coming out, people who were scoring marks that were probably, I don't know, relatively closer to me were scoring really low. It was the 2015 Clat, still known to be the toughest Clat of the era. And I think I thought whatever college I will get, I will make the most of it. That was my approach. But my strategy was a very holistic and, I don't know, very compiled strategy in that sense. You have to attempt every subject in a daily basis. You have to live every day of the year as the year itself. सुबह उठूं तब तैयारी स्टार्ट करिए क्लैट की साल में, और रात को सोऊं तब क्लैट क्लियर करके सोना है. That has to be the approach. And to complete that, I think you have to attempt questions, read theory, revise stuff in a daily routine for every subject that you're preparing for. You have to do English, you have to do maths, you have to do reasoning, and you have to allot time to these. There has to be a specific time. A to-do list is must. Without a planner, you cannot execute it. There may be people, and I was one of them, mind you, who thought the to-do list is there in my head.
Correct.
I know that what I'm going to do throughout the day, but you never do. One bad thing, one sad experience puts you off for that day. But a to-do list reminds you, boss, this is what you wrote when you woke up, right? This was you. Are you going to lie to yourself? No, right? नींद कैसे आएगी रात को अगर to do list complete नहीं हो रही है? That should be the approach. So I think every subject and number of mocks. This is what I tell everybody that I help in the process of preparing for Clat. You can read as much, you can practice as much, but until you're playing a match, you won't know how to win it. So you have to give n number of mocks in order to put yourself in the same situation. And giving a mock is a very serious effort, right? When I'm giving it, I have to believe that I'm attempting Clat and not a mock.
Exactly.
The idea has to be that. The idea has to be like I have to be put in that pressure, in that position, that if this goes wrong, everything is going south. So I have to put in the best effort there. And I think that works. That works.
Absolutely. तो गाइस आपने देखा यहाँ पे कार्तिक सर ने भी आपको यही एडवाइस किया कि you have to have a holistic approach and don't leave out any section. He didn't leave any section. You shouldn't leave it either. Right? आपको अगर आप में से किसी ने भी अगर लगातार हमारे जो YouTube पे वीडियोस आ रहे हैं ग्रेडअप पे अक्रॉस सेक्शंस अगर आपने वो नहीं देखे हैं तो जरूर उनको देखिए ताकि आपको एक हेल्प मिल जाए अक्रॉस सेक्शंस चाहे वो मैथ्स हो चाहे आपके लगातार करंट अफेयर के वीडियोस हो अक्रॉस एग्जाम्स सो इफ यू हैवंट सब्सक्राइब्ड ऑलरेडी प्लीज डू सब्सक्राइब राइट ओके सर दिस वन मोर क्वेश्चन यहाँ पे राइट वेरी गुड क्वेश्चन यहाँ रोमन हैज आस्क्ड दिस क्वेश्चन सर हाउ डिड यू हैंडल पेरेंट्स प्रेशर
This is an amazing question. And everybody who's preparing, so there is a strength of students attempting Clat, right? There are students who started preparing since their 11th grade. There are students who start preparing from their 12th grade. Then there are droppers. And then there are students who are already in law schools but are not satisfied with the law schools and they reattempt again. Okay, so we'll leave those out because clearly वो college में होते हैं, they can regulate themselves. उसके अलावा every student who's starting to prepare for Clat has to figure out a routine. But there is no necessity कि उनका figured out routine और उनके parents का सोचा हुआ routine same हो. And that's why there is always a clash. For instance, there are a lot of students who want to study in the night. And there are a lot of parents who only want their kids to wake up early in the morning and study. सुबह पढ़ाई अच्छी होती है. For me, I didn't live at my place. So there are students who are living in PGs, who are living outside their home and who are obviously not with their parents, so they can do whatever they want to and regulate. But there are students who have no choice and are living with their parents. In that, I think there has to be a conscious effort towards your parents. Your parents can be the most orthodox parents in the world, but when you deliver and when you give results, they understand that this is what is working for him or her. And I think girls face those kind of issues a lot. Boys are still somehow figuring it out with their parents. You have to tell them, I like studying in the night. I like sleeping in the morning. I like attending classes in the night in the recorded versions. And that's how it works for me. So eventually, if you're scoring and the reviews from your faculties are decent enough, your parents will understand maybe this is what is working for him or her. And I did that. I told them, if I live with you, I won't work. I will see you. I will see you do things that I want to do. I will see you watch TV. I will see you have fun. And I probably wouldn't want to have that fun in the same time. Maybe I want to watch TV, but it's in the morning at 4 a.m. And maybe I want to study at 3 a.m. in the night. But I can't disturb my routine and your routine in order to be together. So let's part our ways for a year and let me achieve something. That's the idea.
Amazing.
आप उनसे बात करें वो समझेंगे.
बिल्कुल सर बिल्कुल. तो दोस्तों यहाँ पे जैसा सर ने बताया तो यू हैव टू फाइंड आउट एक्चुअली कि व्हाट एक्चुअली वर्क्स फॉर यू राइट. आपके लिए क्या बेस्ट स्ट्रेटजी है, आपके लिए क्या बेस्ट करता है. एंड एज ही सेड यू हैव टू बी रियल फ्लेक्सिबल अबाउट योर शेड्यूल एज वेल. जैसा सर ने बोला कि 3 बजे भी मेरे को 4 बजे उठ के मेरे को पढ़ना है, टीवी देखनी है, जो भी मुझे करना है मेरे को आई शुड डू इट माई वे. सो देयर इज नो वन सेट कि यार ऐसा सुबह उठ के पढ़ना चाहिए या रात को शाम को. इट्स फ्लेक्सिबल आपके वर्किंग, आपके जो स्टडिंग आवर्स है वो फ्लेक्सिबल हो सकते हैं, जैसा कि आई एम श्योर कार्तिक आपके वर्किंग आवर्स भी होंगे.
Right, right. I mean, it's humongous amount of work as of now.
राइट.
But I would like to repeat, if you're making a to-do list and you are writing down, हर वक्त जब आपका दिन शुरू होता है, किसी का दिन में 2 बजे शुरू हो सकता है, किसी का सुबह 6 बजे हो सकता है. The idea is to have your to-do list prepared at the time you wake up. When you wake up, na, the idea is I can achieve everything in the world in this day. I will do everything that I can. In that ego, in that boost, if you write something on paper, this is all that I want to do today, you should promise yourself that you will not sleep until you complete that to-do list. You will not sleep until you achieve what you've promised to yourself. And that is it. Then you can make your routine as flexible as you want and revolve it around the to-do list.
Absolutely.
You have to have a plan on a daily basis.
Well said, Kartik. So Kartik, now let's come back to AZB, right? So we've heard how was your discussion when basically you shared them with them how will you prepare for Clat? How was their what was their reaction? How did they reacted when they heard for the very first time that you've secured this amazing job from one of the topmost law firms of India? Please.
Right. And this is, I mean, in terms of, I mean, how did my parents feel about it?
And you. Right.
Okay. So
let's start with you first.
I think it was a humongous amount of peer pressure, right? Everybody who secures a job is treated as something which is probably better than who they are. And everybody who doesn't secure a job at that particular point in time is treated as inferior. I think this image has to go away.
Correct.
Maybe the kind of people that were recruiting were not good enough to understand the kind of personality that you are, and maybe other recruiters will understand. And maybe you were lucky enough. I'm not being humble at this point of saying that because I got AZB, I am better than anyone else. No, not really. The idea is to believe in yourself, to tell yourself that this is not the only recruiter, and there will be other people who want people to work for you. For me, I was very fanatic about a couple of law firms that I really want to be a part of, and I got shortlisted by a couple of law firms, and I got a couple of offers also. The AZB was not the only law firm that wanted to hire me. I chose AZB. That is, I think, one thing that you have to approach yourself with. You will not get one offer, and you should not focus on just one offer. You have to focus on multiple offers so that you get something out of it. I think I was happy because financial stability provides you with a lot of perks. You can take your own decisions. Nobody will tell you what to do after you're earning for yourself. So that is one thing that I think a lot of kids will look up to. अपनी मर्जी का मालिक हर कोई बनना चाहता है. And I think this is one good way to do that. My parents were really happy. Obviously, every parent is. I did not tell them until I felt right. I did not tell them right away. I took time. I took time for the feeling to come in, for me to understand why I wanted it, and now that I got it, how do I feel about it? And I told them about it. I never told them that I want a job. I never told them what I want to do in life. I always kept it inside of me. And I think that is how it worked, because if you tell somebody that you want to do something and you don't do it, there are a lot of questions around it, and you have to answer that, and energy gets wasted. I never like doing things like that. And I think I always kept it to myself, and it worked, I think, in a decent way.
Correct. So, Karthik, basically there is a student who's asking how did you choose between so many career options? So there are lots of career options while you're there in law school. You can work for international law firms, for NGOs. You can practice criminal law, practice corporate law. You can do a number of things. So how did you basically ended up choosing corporate law as a career?
So okay, this is a good question, and I think this is a question which is probably early for an aspirant to ask, but I will still answer it. I still haven't figured out what I want to do in life. The only thing that I've figured out is that I want to learn as much as I can wherever I am. And at this point in my life, I think the best practical option to have the highest amount of exposure with a good amount of financial stability was corporate law. I can be anywhere in the world, but will not get this amount of exposure and this amount of financial stability while doing anything. Litigation has its own perks, has its own demerits also at the same time. Financial stability initially is not there. it takes time. You have to build it, because the logic is right now clients are not coming to AZB because Kartik Yadav is at AZB. Clients are coming to Kartik Yadav because AZB is associated with Kartik Yadav. The name is AZB and partners and not Kartik Yadav. But when I'm litigating, the focus is on Kartik Yadav. So I didn't want to treat myself in the first person so easily and so early in my life, because I wanted to learn as much as I can from people who have done it.
Right.
And corporate exposure, I was good at numbers. I was a commerce student. I did BBA in college. So I planned it in a way where I wanted to know if I could do something with the ability to play with numbers. And I liked it. So corporate law allows me to play with numbers, and I like doing it. Yeah.
Absolutely well said. तो देखो दोस्तों, यहाँ पे ये चीज समझने की है कि it's because he identified what worked for him, right, where he and his interest lied. तो वहां पे उन्होंने उस तरह का उन्होंने अपना करियर ऑप्शन चूज किया. Similarly, when you'll go there, first year you'll intern, जैसे सर ने बताया आपको, पहले साल आप इंटर्न करेंगे, दूसरे साल आप दूसरी जगह इंटर्न करेंगे, थर्ड ईयर you'll go to some place else, right? तो जब इतने सारे अलग अलग स्फीयर्स में, फील्ड्स में आप इंटर्नशिप करेंगे, you will figure out what is your true calling, right? तो ये आप फिगर आउट कर लेंगे, right? तो एक और क्वेश्चन है अब इंटर्नशिप के बारे में जो आप दोस्तों पूछ रहे हो कि हाउ टू सिक्योर अ गुड इंटर्नशिप. दिस इज बेसिकली व्हाइल यू आर देयर, जब आप वहां पे जाएंगे कॉलेज में, तो जैसा सर ने बताया आपको, देयर इज अ इंटर्नशिप सेल. सो यस, दे विल डेफिनेटली, दे विल बी हेल्पिंग यू एज वेल. उसके अलावा भी कुछ और टिप्स हैं जो मैं एक बार सर, अगर आप ब्रीफली, अगर आप कुछ थोड़ी सी टिप्स अगर शेयर कर दें.
Right, why not? I think the first key and the major key to getting internships is you don't have to be afraid of rejections. Rejections se nahi darna hai. Apply to as many places as you can, as many times as you can, till the time you get it. Now, getting a good internship in the right sense means your CV has to be correct for that particular internship provider. If I am looking for interns, I know what kind of an intern do I want. Has to be from a certain college, has to be from a certain score, has to be doing a certain moot, has to be in a certain year. But you can beat all of that. You can be from a college that he does not want to take interns from, but still get the internship because you are applying and applying and applying and not wasting one opportunity of an internship that you can get. So I think the key is to not be afraid of rejections. जितनी बार apply कर सकते हैं, जहाँ जहाँ कर सकते हैं, करते रहें. You will get the right amount of internship. Maybe the internship that you get will be a stepping stone or a ladder or a step in the ladder to the internship that you actually want eventually.
Correct.
You never know.
Guys, we are focusing on internship, and again and again coming and talking about internships is pretty obvious. Why? Because as Karthik said, the internships are actually a stepping stone to, in the end, getting a good job, a great job. अगर आपको वो अचीव करना है तो उसके लिए internships play a pivotal role, very important role, right? So this is the entire journey of how Karthik Yadav was able to crack Clat, and then how he was able to secure an amazing offer from a tier 1 law firm. And then as you all of you know, मतलब now थोड़ा सा कुछ, हाँ चलिए, चलो एक और क्वेश्चन है सर, काफी फ्रीक्वेंटली आ रहा है, मैं अवॉइड नहीं करा जा सकता. एक और ये क्वेश्चन आपने भी कई बार सुना होगा, सर व्हाट शुड वी चूज, BA-LLB और BB-LLB? आई एम श्योर आपने कई बार सुना होगा. मैंने भी एज अ मेंटर आई हैव हर्ड दिस क्वेश्चन थाउजेंड्स ऑफ टाइम. प्लीज आप इसको अगर आप एड्रेस करें तो.
Okay, so there are 2-3 aspects to it. The first is beggars can't be choosers. There is a possibility that you end up in a college where you have no option but BA-LLB.
Yes, sir.
Then you go ahead with that. Exactly. There are, in fact, most colleges only have these options. It's only GNLU, NLU Cuttack, NLU Jodhpur, and I think NUJS. These are the total amount of colleges that offer you courses other than BA-LLB. Now, if you don't want to do BA, so the idea has to be, what do you want to do eventually? If people want to pursue UPSC, want to attempt UPSC or any government exam, it is rightful for them to seek BA-LLB as an option, because you study subjects that are corely related to the subjects that will come in the exam itself. If you want to do corporate law, you can choose a commercial stream, which is a BCom or a BBA, because it helps you develop both as a manager and as a lawyer.
Correct.
But there is no, exactly. Now I'll come down to the last bit, which is there is no straight jacket formula. you don't necessarily have to be a BBA student to get a job at a law firm. You can be a BA student and also get a job. For instance, there are good colleges which don't offer BBA, but people still get placed at good places, right? So the idea, it's only a building course and not the main course. The main course is still going to be LLB, which is the degree for law. And the other course that you're integrating it with is only to support that course. So if you get an option, choose what you want to. If you're a commerce student, you have to pick BBA because it will help you, or BCom because it will help you. It will ease you out in the process in those 5 years, because those 5 years have a lot of work. You can reduce it yourself if you choose the same subjects that you've already read.
Correct.
I have seen people take BA because I have already studied commerce in my 11th or 12th grade. Now I don't want to repeat it. And then they face issues that it's too much amount of work. BA is completely new. I don't want to start all over again. So that's a bad choice. If you've already read commerce, make it easy for yourself in college and take BBA. Right? But if you haven't and there is only one option, then there is nothing wrong about it. You can still do wonders while availing that option.
वेल सेड सर. और जैसा कि सर ने बताया आपको कि अगर आपके पास ऑप्शन है, इफ यू हैव ऑप्शन, तो टेक दैट जस्ट टू मेक थिंग्स इजियर फॉर यू, राइट? इन टर्म्स ऑफ गेटिंग एंड सिक्योरिंग अ जॉब, दे डू नॉट मेक एनी डिफरेंस, चाहे आप BLLB हो, चाहे BBLLB हो, राइट सर? चाहे आप BSc LLB हो, जॉब तो आपको कुछ भी, कोई सा भी आपका एडिशनल डिग्री हो साथ में, आपको अच्छा स्कोर आप कर सकते हैं, राइट? So guys, with this, I think all questions, most of the questions rather, have been answered. Thank you so much, Karthik, for your time.
We can take other. Are there questions that are unanswered? I don't want to leave them unanswered.
Sure, sir. तो थोड़े से ले लेते हैं क्वेश्चन यहाँ पे. Mistakes we should avoid during internship. So majorly the questions are basically, sir, around internships, right? Okay, तो सर बता दीजिए थोड़ा सा internships के बारे में, अगर आप थोड़ा सा बता दें तो, कि what are the mistakes in applying for internships?
Mistakes.
Criminal law, say for example, a student who's basically studying in criminal law, has criminal law as specialization. So where should he be interning if?
Right. If somebody is looking out for a criminal law specialization, there are not a lot of law firms that do criminal law practice. So what you should be looking at are good lawyers. You should start from, ground level, which is the district courts. The lawyers that are actually working. So every big case is going to the district court first and then to the high court in case of criminal law practices, not civil law practices. You have to start from a very basic and very grassroots level, which is the district level courts. Then you move ahead to lawyers in the high court and then probably in the Supreme Court. You don't have to necessarily go for big names when you start. So I think the whole idea is to start from grassroots level for a criminal law practice. Lawyers पे ज़्यादा focus करें, firms पे नहीं.
Absolutely, well said, sir. और sir, what about how what do you think कि if a UPSC aspirant, अगर कोई UPSC aspirant है, how important or how can law benefit a UPSC aspirant?
In n number of ways. I think the most holistic course in India right now that teaches you about what the society is going through, how it can be treated, and how you can contribute to it is law. So apart from law being an optional subject for UPSC mains, which is a direct choice for people who are from law schools, I'm sure you would know, your batchmates would have tried it, and my batchmates are doing it, and other people and other seniors who've done it. I have been with people who've cracked UPSC. When you read law in college, you take law as your optional subject. So your optionals are sorted. But apart from that, because you've read BA LLB, because you've read law, your approach towards theory, your approach towards writing answers in law school helps you really in the approach to prepare for UPSC or any competition exam for that matter, because you have written long answers in college, because you've attempted those kind of theoretical questions in college, and because you've understood the idea of reading text. For an engineer, it is difficult to read text, but for a law student, it's not, or a lawyer, it's not. So I think it really helps.
Absolutely. And now with the pattern change, Karthik, as the pattern has changed, the emphasis which is there on reading has, increased multifolds. So please just throw some light on how important it is for students now to, focus on reading, and what all things that you did to make sure that you develop this reading habit of yours, please.
Right. So reading habit has to be pretty rapid and pretty quick to be a lawyer in general. Earlier Clat pattern did not permit this. And students who cleared Clat suddenly got a shock when they entered college. Oh, this is the amount of things that we have to read, and this is how we have to read it. We never did it back when we were preparing for Clat. And when you become a lawyer, there are number of judgments which are for multiple pages and multiple paragraphs, and then you realize, oh my god, this is a humongous amount of reading again. So I think in order to improve, current Clat pattern gives you a rain check at the point of time when you've started preparing. Reality hits you that, okay, boss, this is what is going to happen. This is not going to stop. Reading is the key to crack Clat now. If you are not good at reading and not good at reading with speed, then you can't crack Clat, because you will never be able to attempt 150 questions. Now, how to do it? I mean, everybody tells you that reading is the key, but how to, I mean, for somebody who's from a Hindi medium background, language is again acting as a barrier. भाषा जैसे मिलाने का काम करना था, वो फिर से दूर करने का काम कर रही है. It now the problem is people don't read newspapers, and I think newspaper reading is a must. Absolutely. Passage reading is a must. Article reading is a must. Every question that's coming in Clat is an article from some newspaper sometime ago. Every entry is like that. So for you to understand that, and you don't have to read anything and everything. Supposedly there is a line, there are a lot of connectors in those lines, conjunctions in those lines, prepositions. You can edit those words and just focus on the keywords in order to register that fast. For instance, there's a paragraph for 500 words. I only have to read 200 or 250 words in order to understand what that means. Correct. And I don't skip lines in completely. I only skip some words in between, which don't like really have to make sense at all. That's what. So I think it only comes with practice. When you do reading on a daily basis and practice questions based on those readings, it eventually improves.
How important is reading for a law student post their, let's say job? How important it is?
Very important. It's very important. You will be given documents, document review. You will have to read judgments, summarize humongous amount of documents. Without reading speed, you can't just do, anything. You have to be a good reader. I think a lawyer never becomes a lawyer completely. He's always a student at heart, because you're always reading. Throughout your life, you're just reading. So I think it only helps. And if you're not good at reading, give yourself a reality check and start working on it.
Absolutely. Okay. So one more question here: how to increase reading speed and how to basically improve your speaking skills?
Right.
So
I think I'll cover the first aspect of it, which is the reading speed first. I think basics of reading are, so if I have to read a newspaper, I will sit with a timer on it. Every day there is an editorial page. I will set a timer for myself, 7 minutes till I read this article. Next day I will put it to 6. Next day I will put it to 5. The articles are changing. Maybe the difficulty level is also changing, but my time is constantly reducing. And when I achieve a certain amount of time, which is good enough for me to attempt a passage in the exam, I will keep practicing it again and again. Without a time restriction on your head, without a gun in on your head, you will never increase speed. It's like every student who attempts questions at their place on their table takes more time than when they attempt it while giving a mock, because वो time का डर बना रहता है कि time खत्म हो रहा है, जल्दी करना है. And that is something that you should put yourself through on a daily basis. जब भी कोई passage कर रहे हैं, put a timer and attempt questions with it. Don't just read theory. Second aspect of the question that you were asking is about, I'm sorry, what was it about?
How to basically improve your speaking skills.
Speaking skills. I think every language, हर भाषा, हर जुबान को सीखने के लिए हम हिंदी कैसे सीखे थे? How did we learn the language? We were spoken in Hindi, spoken to in Hindi. We were made to read in Hindi, and we were seeing Hindi all around us. How many people do you see speaking Urdu? 0.0001%, because that's not the exposure that we have.
Okay.
Excuse me. How did we learn English? Or how do students learn English eventually? How are people in metro cities better in English speaking than tier 2 city students? It's because they are spoken to in English. They see in English, they watch in English, they observe in English. And I think that's the exposure that they have. So you have to put yourself in that situation that आप देखें भी अंग्रेजी में, पढ़ें भी अंग्रेजी में, सुने भी अंग्रेजी में और लिखें भी अंग्रेजी में. जब आप ये करने लगेंगे, आप ऑटोमेटिकली उसके साथ अक्वेंट कर लेंगे अपने बॉडी सिस्टम को. आपका माइंड कनेक्ट करेगा कि यहाँ पे मैं शायद की जगह मैं भी बोलूंगा. That is how it works. So you have to see good writers, you have to read good writers, you have to see good movies. It's okay if you don't understand English, put subtitles, keep a dictionary or an app with you. If you don't understand the meaning of a word, search for it. When you see the same word again 15 times, you will eventually know what it means.
Absolutely.
And the pattern of Clat gives you the leverage to not know English but still score good. You don't have to be necessarily a very good speaker to score good in Clat, or you can be a very good speaker but still not score good, because it's a question answer pattern, right? You can answer the question without knowing what it means because you understand, oh, I think this is what it is. So you have to approach the examination of Clat from the perspective of only scoring and nothing else.
Absolutely, sir. Well said. Guys, this question which you guys are asking, so सबसे बड़ा ज़्यादा question, frequently asked question is basically about the remuneration part, package part, but I'll save you from this. Let me answer this question, guys. AZB की अगर बात करें हम, वैसे मैं कार्तिक सर का भी इस पे ओपिनियन जरूर जानना चाहूंगा, ओवरऑल एक जेनरिक सा, बट let me tell you, AZB is one of the most टॉप मोस्ट लॉ फर्म्स इन द कंट्री, और सबसे ज्यादा अगर कोई लुक्रेटिव पैकेज अगर कोई अवार्ड करता है तो इट इज यस वन ऑफ द लॉ फर्म्स इज AZB, राइट? कार्तिक सर, एनीथिंग दैट यू वुड लाइक टू ऐड हियर? So I think there's some network issue at Kartik sir's hand. All right, so guys, जैसा कि मैं आपको बता रहा था, तो AZB is one of the most sought after law firms for obvious reasons, and yeah, so that's about it. So no problem. Majority questions.
Just give me a second. I think there was a power cut at my end.
No problem. Yeah, so Kartik sir is here. Guys, look at his dedication towards this session. इस बात के लिए लाइक तो बनता है बॉस. कार्तिक सर के लिए जरूर जल्दी से लाइक का बटन आप हिट कर दीजिए for his absolute humbleness and dedication towards this session. Thank you, sir. Ji.
Okay, your question regarding remuneration, I think, needs to be answered on the front that people think if you're from a good college, you're offered more money than a student who's not from a very good college. I think the only thing that changes is the number of jobs that people get from tier 1 colleges, and the number of jobs keep reducing and you keep going down. The amount is the same. Every tier 1 law firm, I won't go into specifics, but mostly offers the same amount when you're starting.
Correct.
It's a very good and it's a decent. I don't mind not sharing numbers. It's somewhere between 14 to 18 lakhs per annum.
There you go.
And it's only fluctuating based on law firms. And AZB is also one of the tier 1 law firms, and they offered the same amount. So it's the same for everybody.
Right. So I'm sure, guys, you guys now are really happy. You've got your answer. The most frequently asked question. चलिए, बहुत बढ़िया. तो guys, with this, I thank कार्तिक सर, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आपका. आपने टाइम निकाला हमारे स्टूडेंट्स के लिए. You interacted, you shared your insights, wonderful insights. Even I had a ball interacting with you, learned a lot about how you basically prepared, how what was your journey throughout your law school and then in your law firm as well. I'm sure the students feel the same. Guys, आप ये टाइम है, थैंक यू कीजिए सर को, धन्यवाद दीजिए for his presence. I'm sure all of you have been immensely benefited from his experience, and yeah, so the students are really happy, sir, as we can see.
I would like to conclude. Abhimanyu, thank you so much for bringing me on board, for sharing, letting me share my experiences and help as much as I can in whatever capacity that I can. I think it was the sweetest gesture as an introduction, as a closing line from you. I hope I keep working in the right ways to justify what you've said, and I am nowhere close to what you're saying, but yeah, thank you so much for all the sweet words that came from your way.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Kartik. So guys, इसी के साथ इसी तरह के अमेजिंग सेशंस को देखने के लिए जल्दी से ग्रेडअप चैनल को आप सब्सक्राइब कर सकते हैं. कार्तिक सर को कुछ भी आप बोलना चाहते हैं, you can write on the comments. We will make sure we make Kartik sir read those comments. We will actually request him, please do read the comments, sir, and
definitely.
Yeah.
All the best to all the aspirants this year. Whenever Clat or ALET or all the law entrances take place, I wish you all the best, and I hope all of you get whatever you deserve in the right sense of it.
Right. Thank you, sir. Thank you, guys. बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आप सभी का to watching us live. बहुत बहुत thank you. We will meet in our next session. Till then, take care. Goodbye. Sayonara. मिलते हैं बहुत जल्द. Thank you, sir. Thank you.